Hello and welcome along to our extended coverage of the first day of action from Lancashire's pre-season tour out in Dubai. Kyle Hogg's alongside me, and there were two games today. Lancashire Thunder women playing against UAE, of course, and Lancashire Lightning playing against the UAE A team, both in T20 matches, and mixed fortunes for the Lancashire teams today. The women coming out on top with a victory, and the men in a very tight game, just losing in the last over. Kyle, first of all, we'll talk about the Thunder's match against the UAE, and a really good and heartening performance by them. 98 for 4 UAE, and the Thunder getting 100 for 5, with Danielle Collins leading the way. It was a fine performance from her, 45 not out from 38 balls.
Yeah, definitely. I think, firstly, for the chance for the women to get the opportunity to go abroad and play cricket, something that, unless they've been involved in England setups, they've probably never experienced, playing cricket abroad. So a lot of it will be very new to them, different conditions. They've been, same as the men inside all winter, and all of a sudden you're playing and it's 35 degrees. So I think just for a few of them, they probably really enjoyed just getting out there and playing cricket.
Well, it is a groundbreaking trip for county cricket, and Lancashire cricket leading the way by taking both the men's and the women's teams away with them. So before we discuss that game specifically, you've already started to tell us about what it means, but to go away on tour at this stage is absolutely fundamental to preparation.
It is, 100%. You spend your winter inside, you're in the gym, you're doing all your fitness testing, you're doing your netting, and I think you're always looking at March, where you're going to go, and it's the chance to put everything together that you've done in the winter. It's a great opportunity to see where you are as a cricketer, and in a way it's good to test yourself against your your fellow teammates. So it's been really positive. Obviously, one good result for the women, not ideal start for the men, but they've all got things to work on moving forward.
Definitely. Well, Danielle Collins with her 45 not out though, she is a star of the women's team.
Yeah, she's a great batter. Left-handed. Normally bats. Last year she probably batted middle to lower order, so it was good to see her up the order a bit in this game. And I think, especially with the women's game, just for them to put in good performances, it'll just give them so much confidence. And for us, for Lancashire to have the opportunity to be away, all the other teams are currently in their indoor centres, so we're getting valuable experience of playing cricket when the other teams aren't.
Yeah, you've had plenty of time coaching the women's teams over the last few years. Laura Jackson was the leading bowler today. 2 for 15 she got. Just talk to us about her.
Yeah, I mean, another really good bowler, sort of come into the setup, relatively new, plays, men's cricket on a Saturday, and I think that's what you'll find is, even though we think of them as women playing women's cricket, in club cricket, they'll all play men's cricket, so they're used to playing, probably tougher cricket, getting stuck in, figuring out. The pressure's on them, being a lot of them the only female playing in the men's team. So, Laura Jackson's a great example of that. She's used to bowling, every Saturday against good players, and she's shown that today.
Yeah, this was a really fine performance by the Thunder, because as we've said, it's their first trip away. They've been inside all winter. They're new, really, in essence, to professional cricket. And to go and play in the UAE's backyard and come out with a victory is a great fillip for them.
It is, and the conditions are just so alien compared to what we're used to. It's for anyone who's been abroad, just being in the heat. 30, you don't even have to play a sport. When it's 30, 35 degrees, it is hard work, and it just shows all the hard work they've done this winter. On the fitness. Now they are professional; they can commit to it 100%. They're fit, they're strong, and they can put in good performances like they have done.
So a fine performance by the Thunder, coming out on top and winning by 5 wickets with 5 balls to spare. They've got another match, 2 matches in fact, tomorrow, a double header, which will both be streamed on Lancashire TV via YouTube. So that's to look forward to for Saturday. The men had a more chastening beginning. It's always good to start with a victory, but UAE got past their 138 for 4 for the loss of 5 wickets in the last over. It was a tight game, and Lancashire will probably say the Lightning should have won that. But they've only been abroad for 4 days and they're just bedding into conditions.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it was a tight game, and them are the ones that you want to win because they build confidence. Watching it there was probably a few opportunities, bit of the odd misfield, the odd drop catch, which when you lose tight games, they really come to the fore in whether you win or lose. You want to win, you want to get off to a good start, but I think everyone will probably be in the dressing room now thinking there's things for them to work on, going on to the next game. Some people will be happy, some lads will be thinking, I've got a big improvement to make if I want to put in some good performances.
Lancashire batting first, got to 138 for 4 in their 20 overs. Keaton Jennings leading the way, he was captain today, 62 from 47 balls. Keaton, you always get the feeling he's still trying to establish himself as a white ball cricketer.
Yeah, but you look at his record and, every time you watch him bat, he scores runs. I think we just think of him being a test match player, but you watch him bat against a white ball, he can open, he can come middle of the innings against the spinners. He plays all the sweeps, the reverse sweeps. Obviously, we've got a very, very good cricket brain. So, he'll just be really happy to spend some time in the middle, get some balls in the middle of the bat and, kick on.
Lancashire playing a relatively young and inexperienced team today. There was no Phil Salt, no Liam Livingston, no Dane Villas playing. Josh Bohannon opened, got 4. Rob Jones, 21, took a while to get going, 30 balls. And then George Lavelle and George Bell finished off the innings, 2 up-and-coming stars there.
Yeah, especially, George Bell having had a, really good World Cup with England. So, it is a young squad, but every single one of them players you've mentioned are Lancashire first team players. If they're called upon in the summer or, they're more than capable of doing well. So it's I think it's a really good eye-opener for some people, just the conditions especially.
Just talk us through the difficulties that you have as a player coming out from 4 months bowling indoors to going abroad, travelling on Monday, it's Friday now, and playing in the totally different circumstances. Just give us an idea of what that's like.
I mean, you have your winter in the nets and you're used to bowling and the ball's coming through hip, chest high, or as a batter, you can just hit through the line of the ball because there's no movement. And then obviously you get out to the Dubai ground, sometimes you might be on a used pitch, you're facing a lot of spin, not much bounce either. So it's it's a real good way of proving, where you're at with your game. If you go on to play a higher level, you look how much cricket there is around the world now. It's very rare you spend a lot of time in the same country, so you've got to adapt to all conditions. And yeah, it's a good opportunity for them.
Yeah. So Lightning having to defend a total of 138 for 4. UAE batted enterprisingly, batted well, and eventually overtook Lightning in the last over, 141 for 5. Jack Morley, possibly the pick of the bowlers. He opened the bowling with his slow left arm spin, took 2 for 20. But when you are bowling in these conditions and this environment, is it very much a way of just feeling your way into bowling outdoors again?
Yes, but probably you'd hope that they're thinking about that already, especially when the conditions you're going to be playing in, so your fields will be a lot different to what you'd have on a hard, fast pitch at Old Trafford. So, a lot of that is, the coaches and people will speak to them, but you'd hope that the level they're at now, them are the things that are entering the heads. It's like you say, open the bowling, so for 6 overs, got a ball a lot different to when he's bowling at the back end with the fields set.
It's a very young and relatively inexperienced bowling attack that Lancashire fielded today. Morley opened the bowling. You've got Tom Hartley, Josh Bohannon experimenting with off spin, George Balderson as well, Danny Lamb and Jack Blatherwick. So a young, very, very young setup there.
Very young, and obviously they're all different types of bowlers. But I think even though they'll be a bit gutted they lost today, I think, when they get back to hotel rooms tonight and, first thing in the morning, they'll have took a lot of experience from today. And you're bowling at batters who are used to those conditions as well. If you watch the UAE batters, how they play spin very well. It's been good.
What do you think that Glen Chappell will think about today's performance?
Well, I mean, all the hard work's been done this winter, so you are playing cricket. You knew 3 months ago you'd be playing on this day. So I think deep down, you'll be gutted they didn't win, especially a close game. But as a coach moving forward, there's plenty of room for improvement, which is, you want to be playing well the first game of the season in the Championship, not so much, the first game of your pre-season tour in Dubai.
And let's not forget, the first game of this pre-season tour is a T20 white ball game, which the lads won't be playing T20 cricket until much later in the season. They're out there now, they can concentrate on red ball cricket. They've got two-day games coming up next week. Do you think the focus will switch very quickly now to red ball?
Yeah, I think the amount of different formats and cricket people play these days, they can adapt to it so quickly, and you look at the squad, there's lads probably in the squad who are more suited to red ball cricket. They'll probably have their heads around it, and there's probably lads on this tour who'll probably be playing a lot more 2020 cricket. So, it's just a great opportunity for everyone, and picking that first team of the season is going to be very difficult. So anybody who stands out and puts on a good show, they're putting their hand up for the season.
Let's just go back to the women and the Lancashire Thunder. They begin playing in May. Just talk us through a little bit about their season coming up.
Majority, they either play 2020 or 50 over cricket.
So white ball cricket.
So it's all white ball, and I think county age group cricket is all white ball cricket, so they are used to it. I think it's nothing new for them playing a lot of cricket, both formats. So it's probably similar to the men. They are professionals now. There's more, the opportunities there. If you do really well, you can be a professional cricketer.
A great experience for both the men's and the women's teams in that there are a number of international players who are not with Lancashire at the moment because they're with England in the Women's World Cup and in the Caribbean. So a lot of youngsters. Who are the ones to really look out for in the women's setup?
I would say there's Seren Smale, who's from North Wales, so proper Lancastrian. We poached her. As a young, I've never seen a young female batter play like she does. I always remember watching Ian Bell as a 14, 15-year-old, and you thought, wow, he's streets ahead of everybody else, you could tell. And Seren in the women's game, she's got into the senior setup this winter for the first time, and I think she's definitely one to watch. Well,
Seren played today, she got 19, so a decent little score that'll give her a bit of confidence.
Yeah, and I think the main thing that will be the hardest thing for women is getting used to being a professional. They're probably used to playing not as much cricket, whereas now it's you train every day, you're playing, you're travelling, and once they get their heads around that, the cricket's there. There's so much enjoyment out there for them.
A word about Ellie Threlkeld, who captained today and kept wicket. I thought she kept wicket very tidily and was very busy as a captain.
Yeah, Ellie, I mean, she's got a good cricket brain. She's superb behind the stumps. And I think if you do watch the women's game, all the wicket keepers at the top level are really good. Ellie's no different. She's been with England A this winter, spent some time in Australia, so she'll only have, plenty of, she's got plenty of confidence from being in that England A setup. And, for her now, it's can she get into the England side?
So that's it for the women. What about the men? Because they start with a run of 6 county championship games in April and May. Usually, April is a time for the bowlers, seam bowlers such as yourself. Where do you see Lancashire's strengths moving into that?
I mean, I suppose England's loss is our gain. You know, Jimmy, he'll be raring to go. You know, just knowing him as a person, and you can see him from the last 15 years as an England player. Like, any time he's down, you know, he'll want to prove people wrong. So he'll be raring to go. Hassan as well, you know, arguably one of the best bowlers in the world at the moment. So,
new overseas signing, Hassan Ali.
Hassan Ali, you know, great Test match bowler. So good luck to the batters with Jimmy at one end and Hassan at the other. And then you've got, you know, your likes of Tom Bailey, Blatherwicks. Everyone's pushing for a place, and 6 games will come thick and fast. And the teams that pick up a lot of points in those first 6 games, they're the ones who inevitably will be at the top of the table come the end.
Yeah, we didn't see Tom Bailey today either. Bowler very much after your own heart. Very similar styles, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's what you have to sort of adapt at Old Trafford. You know, if you've not got the pace of Jimmy, or, you know, you're bowling 90 mile an hour, you have to use your skills. And, you know, Tom's getting better and better every year.
What are the main benefits, Kyle, do you think, for going abroad pre-season? I mean, I think Lancashire have been very fortunate over the years, and the men's team have been abroad now for, well, we started going abroad when I was playing, was back end of the 80s, 90s, and you went, I think, every year in your career. So what are the benefits of the trips?
It's just, I think, just putting together everything you've been working on, and it's a chance to get an advantage, you know, before the season starts. You know, you can bowl as much as you want in the nets, hit as many balls as you want, but once you get into that competition of facing bowlers, you know, bowling at batters, you can see where you're at, and it's just a good, safe environment for, you know, preparing for the season, because no matter what people say, a county cricket season is tough. You know, it's not just the amount of cricket you play in, the travelling, the constant, you know, going from one format to another. So you're just getting a really good opportunity to see where you are and raise your hand for getting picked in the first team.
And in terms of the men's team, a lot of young talent and a lot of talent in the Lancashire side that's either looking to perform exceptionally well for Lancashire or perhaps go even higher. I'm thinking of Josh Bohannon and Phil Salt, who's a new boy on the block. Keaton Jennings looking to re-establish himself after that nasty injury he had at the back end of last year. You know, Tom Hartley, Jack Morley, George Balderson, on and on we can go. Some great prospects there.
I think, like, every single person you mentioned there, even you like to Keaton, who's played a handful of games already, you know, every one of them's probably thinking, I want to get in that England team. Like, you look at it now the way it is, there's lots of opportunity. You know, I guess Keaton's looking at it like, you know, he's got a great opportunity if he gets a good start in the county championship, and, you know, people don't do as well in West Indies, you know, his name's back in the hat. And then the likes of the younger ones, you know, Hartley and Josh Bohannon, who's been away this winter, you know, if you're getting picked in the England Academy, they're obviously looking at you. So, but it's up to them now. You've got to put in good performances and get in that England side.
You certainly have. Just to sum up then, before we wind up, prospects for Lancashire men and women this summer. Looking forward to that.
100%, yeah, and women-wise especially, you know, they've got to win something. We are Lancashire at the end of the day. You know, it's you know, we've set the standard in taking a team out on a pre-season tour, but, you know, we want to be winning silverware. We want to prove to other people, like, you know, if you do this and go down this route, that it does bear the fruits of, you know, when the season starts. And the men, you know, it's same thing. Let's got to get silverware. That's what it's about. That's why you're playing it. Yeah. You know, it's
Kyle, thanks very much indeed for your time this afternoon. Lancashire Cricket then continuing to lead the way by taking both men's and women's teams abroad out to Dubai on their pre-season tour. Don't forget, you've got a double header tomorrow of Lancashire Thunder. You'll be able to see them play 2 games against UAE. And next week, on Tuesday and Wednesday, you've got the men's team playing against Loughborough in a 2-day red ball game. We'll look forward to that. See you soon. Bye-bye.